Hi everyone, you join us in the Range Rover. So we're going to show you in a few minutes the underside of this Range Rover L322. We've completely treated it underneath. So originally we took all this sort of flaky rust that gets on older cars, bits of scabs here and there. Took all that off, just lightly sanded it and wire brushed it where needed, and then we treated it to a coat of Hammerite smooth black, and then we Lanoguarded it. We did that 2 years ago, and you'll see in the video we've now just kept topping up the Lanoguard on an annual basis. In fact, I think the last time we did it was only about 6 months ago. But we just keep topping it up every time it comes in for anything to be done. We just put new front suspension legs on it. So while it was in, treat it to a bit more Lanoguard and just keep it topped up. And you'll see how the Lanoguard is actually really protecting it well. We're not sponsored by Lanoguard. We don't get any products free of charge or anything like that. This is just a product that we buy, and we buy it at full retail price. As far as I'm aware, they don't seem to be able to do us a trade price on it even. So we pay full retail, and we do that because we like the product, and I'm quite a big fan of the product. So I just figured, I like it, I'll buy it. And okay, we can't get it any cheaper than anybody else, but that's how it is. So we'll show you underneath the vehicle, and you can judge for yourself what you think. But I think it does a really good job, and I'm really impressed with Lanoguard. So thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy the rest of it. Hi everyone, so it's Nigel from Bennett Motors. I just thought I'd show you the Range Rover L322. Now, if you've got one of these, you'll know they rust quite heavily, and this one behind me, 2006, you can tell it's got the step in the bumper, and then not quite as deep as the later ones, but it's 2006, so normally they're quite crusty underneath. So what I'm going to do is just show you underneath, and we'll have a look and see what you think. But as we look around here now, this is the car, and you'll see it looks quite tidy actually. So as we go underneath, I'll just grab a torch. Yeah, so if you look at the cross member there, normally they're all very rusty coloured, horrible, and all surface rust, nothing major, but they don't look nice. This one's on new suspension legs, so we've Lanoguarded it while we put them on, so that they're all ready to stay fresh. But this one had a wire brush down, we Hammerited it, and then we just did Lanoguard on it for the last 2 years. So today I've done nothing more than spray it Lanoguard. Didn't need wire brushing or anything, just it was still nice and fresh with the Hammerite. So as you can see, gearbox cradle, normally they're rusty as anything, and they normally just surface rust, but they look horrible. This one, it's had a wire brush 2 years ago, Lanoguarded in between, and today it's had a fresh coat of Lanoguard, and it just looks as good as it did the day we wire brushed it and painted it. Same with chassis rails, they're all looking very good. Again, haven't needed to wire brush them today, just Lanoguard. The air tank, normally these are rotten, especially by this age, and this one's a metal one, not the aluminium. So it was wire brushed, painted 2 years ago, and then just Lanoguarded since. And as you can see today, no flaking rust or nothing, so we just fresh coat of Lanoguard on it. And now as we go down the back, if you know these Range Rover L322s, you'll know these rear arms usually look rusty and horrible and nasty. They're big heavy structure, but they look horrible. These been wire brushed 2 years ago, Hammerite, and now they've just been Lanoguarded in between a couple of times. Now again, this end chassis mount, subframe mount, if you look through the wheel arch of an L322, you'll see them. They're rusty and horrible looking. Again, big heavy structure, they don't rust through, but they just look nasty. Wire brushed, Hammerite 2 years ago. Today, just a fresh spray of Lanoguard. And same with tow bar. Normally they'd look horrible. I always paint them up and make them look nice for the back of the car, because you see it when you're following them. But this one, there's no flaking rust on it. It just needed a fresh coat of Lanoguard today. And you know, one day I might give it another fresh coat of Hammerite even, but there's nothing too bad on it. There you can see it has got where I didn't get the Hammerite on it. That's what it would have looked like originally, but now it's not got any worse. It's not flaking. It's just got the original sort of rusty colour, which it hasn't got any worse in 2 years. So again, the end of the cross member mounting, and they look horrible normally. These rear arms, just fresh coat of Lanoguard. They were done a couple of years ago. So you can see these chassis rails, they look fine, and that's 2 years since they were done. And up in there, which is where they normally start really going, on the sills, they're normally really quite bad, and once they start to go, they really go. And we caught them in time, just wire brush the worst off, Hammerite, Lanoguard, that's it, done. It started to dry this side even, so it has been Lanoguarded today, but it started to dry out. And then same with the chassis rail. It's looking quite healthy, that, and quite nice. Back of the subframe, let's say, normally these subframes, they look awful because they're just breaking out in scabs, but they don't go through generally, not unless you really leave them. But that's looking quite nice, looking quite healthy, that one. So that's a Range Rover L322 that we've just done that to, and it's quite nice. But yeah, so a bit of protection on new components going on, and all these sort of like where you do your track rod ends and your track rod adjustment, it just makes life so much easier. Like we've took this to the bits today. Obviously it's been Lanoguarded for 2 years, and every bolt just came out a piece of cake. No seized bolts, nothing. It's nice and easy. So them are the two big ones that usually seize solid, and then the same this side. They normally seize solid. Track rod, drop links can be a pain. Came off a piece of cake. So yeah, it's worth doing. If you've got an L322, I suggest you get it done. You're going to spend about 100 quid in Lanoguard, and then obviously if you need to pay somebody to do it, it's going to cost you a few quid as well. But it is worth doing. It's definitely worth doing, because it just stops them rusting through to the point where the MOT fail, and that's what you don't want, is a MOT failure on your hands for rot, because then you've got to find somebody who can weld it up, and it becomes a nightmare, doesn't it? So yeah, it's all looking good like that. So that's what to do, and if you want it doing, we can do it for you. But like I say, to wire brush it all down, then Hammerite it, and then Lanoguard it, 100 quid's worth of Lanoguard, probably 30 quid's worth of Hammerite, if not a bit more, 40 quid-ish, and then labour to do it. So, you know, count on about 250 quid, I would say, but it's worth doing if you want to keep the car any length of time, because it just keeps them nice. Okay, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.